So I don't know about you, but I always get a little bit excited when I see something new in any of my Google products. And one of the new things that I've been waiting for is the ability to convert an old Google site over to the new Google site. So I was in my personal Google account today checking to see if that was available, and I do have it available. Now, I have some 40 websites that I created in old Google sites, some of them dating as far back as 2012, and some of them as recent as 2016. Of those 40 sites, I could probably convert between 5 and 10 of them, somewhere in there. I didn't really take a count. And it didn't seem to matter if the site was super old or if it was new. It was really random. So I have no idea why they're picking the sites that they are picking. And it didn't really seem to matter if it was heavily formatted or lightly formatted. It was really just random. So I thought I would do a quick screencast and show you what I found when I converted a site so that you'll know what to expect when you converting some of your sites. So I'm going to go to a site that I had created back in 2014. This is old Google Sites. Obviously, you can tell by the old interface. And this was pretty typical of the websites that I used to design with old Google Sites. So I actually had a flag right up here that said I could convert my new Google site. But if you go into your settings and go to Manage Site, that should also be available there in that sidebar. So I went through the process. This site isn't very big, so it didn't take very long. You'll notice I just have 4 tabs, and 2 of the tabs have sub-tabs or sub-pages, and there's just 1 page there. So that's what the original site looked like. Here's what it looked like when I converted it. Notice that I have a banner that I created and added. I changed this color, the background color of the page. And so I had done I changed the font and some colors, and I typically did those kinds of things in old Google Sites. So here's what it looks like in new Google Sites. This is the first page. You can see that it stripped out my banner. It also stripped out the color that I had in the background, and it kind of rearranged some of the things. So if we look back at the first page, there's my welcome. I have the site address and a little message, and then I put a little footer in here indicating where I got the clip art from. And you can see that it did not keep the size formatting down there. It did keep the links in there. And it did keep the QR code. So you'll remember back on this page, my next set of pages was Google Tools for the classroom, and then Google Tools for the team, and then Contact Me. When it converted, it switched some of those pages around. So I got Contact Me is the next page in my site. Then I have Google Tools for the classroom, but you'll see I don't have a drop down here. Instead of putting that in a drop down, it actually blew those pages out and gave them their own place in the menu bar. So instead of being able to go to this page and then seeing the pages below it, it's just one page, and then I have to go to a separate page to find the presentation. So here's this page. It did keep the clip art in it that I had on it. Let's look at the old site, the old page. That one came over pretty much the same there. Okay, so that one was pretty much the same. On that page, I had 2 subpages. I had the presentation embedded. So this is a Google Slides presentation. If we go look at the new site, it actually blew that out, and it's now a separate tab. But it did keep the presentation embedded in there. And then I had a page of resources underneath that that has a couple of YouTube videos. So let's go check out and see what that looks like. Here's my resources page, and it did keep the 2 YouTube videos embedded. So on the Google Tools for the team, again, I had that clip art. If we look at that, it did keep the clip art, and pretty much the page formatting is the same. Underneath that, I had presentation, which was a Google Slides presentation embedded. If we go look over here, here's the presentation for that particular page. So again, on the old site, you can see all of the formatting, and basically none of that came through on the new site. Let's take a look at the Contact Me page. I have my trainer badge and some information. And over here, remember, instead of being at the last at the menu, it's right next to the welcome page, and that came over as well too. So I would say my first initial impressions of this transfer tool is that it's going to get most of your content there, but if you did a lot of formatting to your site, none of that's going to come over with it. So any sites that you might have that were heavily formatted or heavily designed, that you're probably going to lose that when you convert your sites. But overall, if you had a big site that had a lot of text and content in it, I think this tool does pretty well with that. And realize that you can always go in and make those changes. So here I am on this my converted site, and so if I did want that presentation to go underneath that, I can simply drag it, and so all of this stuff can be rearranged. So I can put the formatting back to the way it was, or to the page layout back to the way it was, but the formatting is the thing that you're going to have to mess with. So now you can see that those pages are back to where they belong, and I can move this contact me down to the bottom again. And so now the navigation structure is exactly the way it was in the original site. So overall, if you have a lot of content that you want to get transferred over quickly and you don't want to copy and paste it, I think this conversion tool will be good for you. But if you have a site that's heavily formatted, lots of colors, lots of background images, and those kinds of things, those are probably not going to come along with it. So there is a first look at the new conversion tool in Google Sites. And remember, I am using my personal Google account. I do not have this feature available yet in my Google G Suite for Education domain. Today is April 26th, but as you know, with everything Google, things change frequently. So keep checking back, and you may have this option in your personal Google account soon.